Well, thank you so much for spending your day with us. I'm going to do a quick little shout out because I want to make sure that I recognize this person right here to my left. He is an innovator. He has challenged me, and I know many others, to think differently, to be big, think big and be bold, to practice all of those values of being courageous, having curiosity, humility, and always leading with gratitude. And so, again, please help me welcome and thank a devoted, curious, lifelong learner who has a great passion for the future of North Dakota and continues to lead with vision and courage, Governor Burgum.
Thank you. As the day comes to the close, I want to again thank all of you for being here. Thank everybody who's been watching online all day long. The fact that you're here is making a huge difference, but I got other people I want gratitude right now. But one of them, of course, is if you got one of these great Aqua t-shirts on, they're probably somebody from the governor's staff. Turns out that our small and mighty team of 16 people, that's it. That's the whole, every education, healthcare, industry, commerce, everything we do, managing, strategic planning with 74 agencies gets done by 16 people, plus Lieutenant Governor Miller and myself. And about half of our team is here today wearing these, what do you call these, turquoise, aqua? What's the cool t-shirts? Teal, we call them teal. They're teal colored. We've got them on both ends. We got them backstage. Maria, of course, is our senior policy advisor, but I want to give it up because when we do 5 events like this a year across Recovery Reinvented, Government Indian Fairs, education, Main Street Initiative, every one of them, it doesn't matter what your job is, everyone's got to stop what they're doing and go help put on a conference in our little governor's office, but they do a fantastic job. So let's give it up for everybody on the governor's office team. And I want to also thank all of you that are here and taking the time to be here. I know everyone's got pulled in 100 directions when you're a teacher, if you're an educator, if you're a school building leader, or if you're whatever you've got 100 things you could be doing. It's summertime. You're taking the time to be here. Many of you have come to each one of these that we've had over the years. Some of you that might be listening in for the first time, but it doesn't matter whether you are or you're not. I view you as the future of North Dakota, because like these students you just saw on here, you're fighting for them. You're fighting for them for, because every kid learns differently. They learn at their own pace, at their own way, in their own, pace, place, time. You got all the right words for how you do it, but we just know that. And as someone whose my mother was an educator, I said earlier today, in our 3 kids, the oldest one had dyslexia. I had to learn a lot about how kids learn at different spaces and times, but thank goodness our oldest, he's now 31, but grew up in a time when all of a sudden audiobooks showed up, when there was a diagnosis where people could figure it out at a young age, and then all the online resources in terms of what you can learn. You think of every TEDx video that's out there, all the different things. This kid has consumed so much non-regular classroom type material because he's an audio and visual learner as opposed to a reader, but thank goodness he grew up in an era where he could do that. So it is appreciate that all of you are doing everything you can for all your students, regardless of their abilities and where they're coming from, and helping move everybody ahead, because that's what we're, of course, doing. But I want to just say, as we recap this morning, we made this enormous progress across the last 8 years. We have so many things to be grateful for in terms of our legislature supporting innovation in this state, and whether it's graduation pathways, Learn Everywhere, K-12 Coordinating Council, the Choice Ready Framework, the collaboration with our great leadership, Superintendent Baszler, and in the DPI, which we recognize today, what we've got with Wade Sick and his team, doing with the career and technical, what we've got with distance education. We have so many people that are pulling, and again, we've had these in the past where the whole day was focused on behavioral health. Just because we didn't talk about it today doesn't mean we don't have very large efforts going on in health and human services that are also trying to collaborate and do this. We've got, the stuff that's helping support your teachers, because I know that if we got 1,000 families out there that are getting access to childcare that weren't a year ago, some of those, I'm sure, are teachers. So trying to put all of this in place in what we're doing, the best in class, for 4-year-olds across, trying to get that to all of our across the state. If that happens and it gets delivered through things other than the classic K through 12, it helps you when those kids get to, when they get to kindergarten, they're in a better spot. So again, we've got to approach this thing as a whole of government, not just, put it all on the back of the K-12 system. And as we said at the beginning, when we start getting kids into high school, like you had 2 of the kids up here that are in the Power program that are thriving because of the collaboration between K-12 and higher education here at BSC, to think that we're going to have another 9 of those locations around the state going, I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. So again, but if I was talking to an empty room, some of this wouldn't be happening. Some of you have been here. Some of you have been at these things. We honored people today that, like on the work that's being done on personalized learning for the last 6 years. Last 6 years, they've been working and advancing this thing. We've got other schools and other districts that haven't spent a week on this. So again, if I've got a challenge, I'm going to offer some challenge today, but one of them is for all of you to be evangelists. If you're here, you're part of the choir. You're not part of the congregation. The choir is much smaller than the congregation. We need the choir to start singing about what you saw here today, what you learned here today, the examples of great innovation that you've seen. We've got to have higher rates of innovation being adoption of innovation. It's hard work. It takes extra work. But what a difference it can make in our students. So we need more people to do the adoption. And the alternative is, you could end up in a situation like some of the other states where if you're not doing it, guess what? You get a pile load of red tape piled on your head, and then you get another set of regulations coming from the state or the Fed that said, do this, do that, do whatever. And then you'll, I guess they don't understand our situation in our school with our students. We do understand that our districts are very different. The students are different. The mix and the culture is different. The economic backgrounds are different. The healthcare, we understand it's different. That's why we've got an innovation framework so that we can have school districts drive and do what does for them. But we need more people that are trying and experimenting to do that. We had a great day of keynote speakers. I know that some of them had to go, like Pat Young-Pradit. He had to get on the plane and get out of here, but Matt Kirkner is still here. Where's Matt? Right there. Let's give it up for Matt. Thank you again. Great job. And I want to make sure that everybody understands, Matt doesn't sell himself. When he talks about having full automation robots in every school in the state, they've got the contract where they can help institutions acquire those at super low cost with the kind of things that would be going into the top manufacturing locations in the country. We've got an opportunity here in the Midwest. He keeps talking about the Midwest. They have an opportunity to help all of you. So if you're like saying, oh, that's great for Wisconsin, that's great for someone else, that can happen here. And so, Matt will still be here when you're done. If you don't know him or don't know how to get connected with him, make sure that you and somebody in your district does, because he's now working with organizations. He's got a team that's supporting North Dakota K-12, and they can help advance whatever you're doing in CTE, whatever you're doing in the way we're doing on the Learn Everywhere. You can build in all kinds of curriculum around that. But this is a place where AI meets manufacturing, meets career and technical education. There's great things. Melody Shop, wow, I mean, what a capability she's got, leading South Dakota's education under Governor Dugard, and now working for one of the top organizations in the nation, SAS, that's driving on all this stuff. She's a great resource, and she's taught in North Dakota. She's been in your shoes. And so again, I know that we'll make contact information available from our office to these people, but if they intrigued you on those keynotes, don't just go like, I saw a great keynote, do some follow-up. I'm challenging all you, reach out to Melody. How can we apply those tools? Can we do this? And of course, Pat, his stuff, he challenged everybody. Go download his stuff. Follow him on LinkedIn. They've got programs and frameworks that are being applied now in over 15 different states. These are national organizations, code.org and Teach AI. There's all kinds of things that any of your schools could just run with. So part of it, these conferences, we want to expose you to the best resources in the country. So go out there and grab it. But let's give it up one last time for all 3 of our keynoters today that flew in here. We know that the thing that we want to do is the 6 words that we talk about: empower people, improve lives, and and inspire success. That's what all of you are doing. We saw that. We've seen that today in the results. We saw that in award winners. We've seen it in the students. But again, that's why we're all here. And that's why, again, if we're trying to work on teacher retention and recruitment at this time of dramatic change, I would like to think that at the time of AI, that the work that all of you are doing can actually become even more purposeful. It's always been purposeful. These kids got asked what their favorite teachers are. I can tell you who my favorite teachers were in high school. I could walk right down the line. I think I could tell you the name of every teacher. I could tell you who I had in first grade, second grade. So I mean, just write down the whole thing, but it was easy because everybody's name ended in S-O-N. Anderson, Olson, Pearson. I mean, that's what happens when you grow up in rural North Dakota. But anyway, it was, I had great teachers. My shop teachers were amazing. Mr. Goff and Mr. Willett, they were incredible. Mrs. Deutsch got me excited about science. Mrs. Dolmeyer got me excited about math. None of them were thrilled about my attendance or my timeliness, but I had a great time, through all of that. When my dad passed away when I was a freshman in high school, who stepped up? Teachers and coaches filled a big hole in my life. And that's what I know. There's all of you are doing that when you're working with kids that are going through times where they're challenged. But you guys are doing this, but now we have to do it in a way where the alternatives. It used to be the only place you could get information was from a book at a library. Now kids can get information or disinformation anytime, anywhere on a device. Everybody's walking around. Some of you remember when we were trying to get computers into schools. That wasn't even 20 years ago. We're like, how do we can't afford them. We're going to have cows, computers on wheels. We're going to share, laptops. Those things are the things that we were pushing around on a cart have like 1/100th of the power of the smartphone that the kids are walking into the school with today. I mean, we've got so much computing power that is walking in the door, and now that computing power has got access to all of this AI. ChatGPT 4.0 that's available on these phones, it's basically free. The Bing Copilot, you download the new version of that search engine, and you can toggle switch on or not, whether you want to use Copilot for a search or not. That's basically free. So now we have unlimited power. This power to be able to do all this stuff is out there, and everybody's got it. Teachers and educators and schools have got to learn how to use it, or we're going to be in this thing where the kids are going to be teaching you. Maybe that's happening. So one of my other challenges about AI, there's so many opportunities that come from AI. That we've got to just grab a hold of that. And I would say, and you've got to go now. You can't wait till next fall. You've got to go now. If you have not downloaded at least Bing Copilot or ChatGPT on your phone, you must do it. You can't be here this whole day and go home and go, that was interesting. You've got to do it. You've got to do it tonight. And then when you do it, then you got to play with it and find some young people to go play. When I say play with it, we just got done with Father's Day. Maybe you got a wedding, a holiday, a birthday, something coming up. Ask ChatGPT to write a poem about your favorite family member. And then ask them, after you have to write the poem, then say, no, I would like it in this. No, I'd like a haiku. It can only be 14 syllables. No, I would like it in this. No, can you convert it into French? I'd like it actually in French. No, I actually decided I don't want French. I want it in English, but I want it to be written in a country western music style. It's like a parlor trick. Just keep going on and on. And if you sit down with anyone and just play with it, they will be, it does that? It does that? Wow, it can really do that? That's amazing. It's like, how does it do that? I mean, I was with somebody one time and they said, hey, make me a joke website that only does dad jokes. I was thrilled. Okay. Anyway, then it codes. It writes the code and it produces a web page that you click on the thing and then a joke comes up. It did that. It wasn't like going to the internet and searching. It created and wrote the code to create a website for a dad joke website. So if you want your own customized dad joke website, you can do that on your way home tonight and impress everybody in your family that you have it. It's a okay. I'm self-editing because I was going to start telling all the dad jokes it produced, but I have a limit on those. I can't do those. But I would say, did you know I did learn something. Do you know how a joke becomes a dad joke? When it crosses that threshold to actually become a dad joke? Thank you. There she is right there. It becomes apparent. So anyway, I'm going to spare you with all that. But I'm just saying there's so many things that this could do. And then we didn't really talk about images or visual stuff. But it can also create images. And you type in a query, and then you ask it to do something, and it will create a query. And it won't go out on the internet and search for it. But I was, interested as a North Dakota State grad, what a bison, on the moon would look like, if it was done in kind of an impressionist style from those French things. And then you ask it, and then it does that. And then if you say, okay, I like that, that's really cool, bison running around on the moon. But then could you do it, in a different artistic style from the Renaissance? And then it does that. And then you say, hey, could you do it, but have it look like it's made out of Legos? And it does that. I mean, it's just like and then pretty soon you've been fired from your job because all you're doing is playing with this incredible thing, and you can't stop. Your curiosity is just going through the roof. So the capability is there. I want everybody to go out, write a poem, do an image, do all this stuff. I mean, you can do all that stuff. And then if you like, hey, I don't have time to read. I got kids. I got school. I got this. I got that. When you're walking through the airport and you see a book and you say, I wish I had time to read it. I wish I had afforded that. Ask ChatGPT, give me a 500-word summary of that book. And it'll give you a 500-word summary of the book. And it will do that. If you got a big appointment coming up and you're having a dinner with someone you've never met before from another industry, type into it and say, I'm having dinner tonight with XYZ. They're an expert in this. They do that. I'm super excited to meet them. What question should I ask them? And it'll give you a bunch of questions to ask them at dinner. I mean, you can use it for anything. I got kids that are using it 30 times a day, and I feel like I'm behind. I use this stuff every single day to help me in my job today, and all of you should do it. Forget teaching. Just have more fun in your life. Have more time. Do all this stuff. Stop looking stuff up. Stop being tired of doing a search and then getting a bunch of bad results, because when it comes up on these things and it gives you the result and it may not be accurate, but it's got footnotes. It's got all the footnotes, and it shows all the websites it pulled it from. And then it suggests additional questions that you could go out and ask on top of that. That's the current version. Okay, there's a new version coming. There's no release date yet, but 4.0 is out. That's what I'm talking about. 5.0 is coming. I saw a demo 2 weeks ago of some of the stuff in 5.0, and I would say get ready, because in the last presentation we had this afternoon, it talked about visual. I mean, and there was she just kind of zipped over that like that's an easy thing. We all know facial recognition, because you probably are all using facial recognition to get into your phone to do that. But the idea that now it's not just your face that it recognizes because you took a thing and it's matching your face versus your face again. When you've got if you've got 50,000 photos or something like I do on my phone, and I say, show me pictures of horses, it comes up with all the pictures of horses. I mean, I was like, a friend of mine here was flying a small plane into Bismarck, and he was flying, east of Bismarck over the wildlife refuge. A goose came through the windshield, hit him in the face. He lived through that whole thing. He had, it was 10 degrees out, and it's like driving a motorcycle at 3,000 feet without a helmet, with your glasses broken and a goose in your lap. But he landed safely here, and then he took a picture and sent it to me of him holding the goose that was still inside the airplane with the broken window. And I told somebody about it, and they're like, I don't really believe that whole thing. And I'm like, how am I going to find this thing? What month did that happen? He sent me the thing. It wasn't a photo I took. And 50,000 plus photos, and I typed in airplanes, and it brought back every photo that I've ever taken of an airplane, and it was even just part of his airplane with him standing in front of it, and the picture was there. That's AI. That's AI going through 50,000 photos fast, and it knows what an airplane is, and it only surfaces that up. Cats, dogs, horses, pick anything. It'll, boats, sailboats. I mean, it'll search. It'll do all that stuff. So now it's got the ability to do that. So then what's next? So the demo I saw, open up your fridge door, ChatGPT 5.0, take a picture of your fridge, all the ingredients in your fridge, and then you take the photo and you put it in and say, what should I make for dinner? And it comes back and says, you've got cheese, you've got bacon, you've got eggs, you could have an omelet. You could do a Cobb salad, but I don't see any blue cheese. I mean, it's like this is the point where some people get very excited, other people get very scared. But it's the same way it does facial recognition. It can figure out that that's a bottle of ketchup because it's absorbed every ketchup bottle from every brand, from everything, and it knows, just like facial recognition knows it's you, it knows that that's a ketchup bottle, and it knows that's what's in your fridge, and it understands when I say what I'm going to make for dinner, it understands that you're a human that wants to eat, and it understands the kind of things that people might make with that. When they say these large language models, it's just not large. It's just like beyond belief. It's read everything. Now, if you want to do it, say, hey, I can't afford to hire a lawyer, but I'm curious about a legal case, or I'm curious about this. It's read every law book. This stuff that is out, 4.0, ChatGPT 4.0, has passed the bar exam. It didn't pass the entrance exam to get into college. It passed the bar exam to come out. It's passed the medical exam. So what I'm saying is, the challenge I have for all of you is you've got to go play with this stuff. You've got to do it now. Your kids will have done it by the time, the students will have done it by the time they show up next fall, because it's advancing. And when 5.0 comes out, it's 10 times more powerful than 4.0. So that's my challenge. Play with it. Develop your own curiosity. We talk about the 4 criteria that we have, courage and humility. Have the humility to understand that you don't know anything really about it. You learned a little bit today. The way you learn is experiencing it, and the way you experience it is through curiosity. And then have the courage to figure out the way to bring it into your classroom in a way that works. In closing, I just want to say again, the future is super bright for North Dakota. It's bright because all of you are here. It's bright because we collaborate with each other. It's bright because we've got the resources to be able to actually go and get the stuff done that we need to get done from a financial resource standpoint. And we've got great leadership in this room. We need more leaders like you that are willing to take risks, that are willing to step forward and do that. And we can have the best education in the system, in the nation. We can achieve that as a state. We can do that. But we can only do it if all of you are a multiplying force to get your coworkers, your school boards, and everybody around you to understand it's go time. It's go time, and we can take the job of teaching. And like what Matt said earlier today, I really would take away as a key point. AI is not going to replace educational instructors, but educational instructors that understand AI are going to replace those that don't. You have such software is the single biggest invention that's ever expanded and extended human capability. That's all happened in our lifetime. Software expanding human capability. AI is software on steroids. It's the thing that expands it more than ever before. It's not like a little bit of an increment. It's like a 10x that grows by 10x. That's the curve that goes straight up. You've got to grab this rocket by the tail and start figuring out how to apply it if we do it, because education, law, medicine, engineering, there isn't any job in this country that's not going to be affected. If you want to prepare kids for the future, you've got to prepare them for a future where every job except maybe the 36, maybe being a professional athlete. But I'm telling you, Matt, I would even challenge that, because professional athletes watch tape, and if you want to watch, every competitor you've ever played, AI will be able to figure out, what are the things that those defensive players on a football team, what are the tells, what are the things they're doing wrong? I mean, I'm telling you, it's going to hit professional sports if it hasn't already. So I would even challenge the 36 out of 1,000. So I'm just going to say it's going to affect every job, every company, every industry in America. It's going to affect all those. If our job is to prepare people for those futures, you have to have the skills, the courage, and the understanding at a base level to drive it forward. But anyway, I know that all of you, I'm not just counting on you, I believe in you because you've been here. So again, the future is super bright. We can do it if we all work together. We can have the best education system. You guys have been amazing all day. My team has been amazing. Thank you for everything you do. Thanks for watching online. Have a fantastic rest of your summer, and let's go North Dakota. All right, thank you.